Hey guys, welcome back to the Guitar Slinger Hockey Channel. Today, I'm going to find out if Pro Stock hockey sticks still suck. So stick around. Hey guys, so thank you for joining me again on my famously unfamous YouTube channel. If you guys have watched any of my videos in the past, you might remember me calling, or just kind of saying that I've had some rather negative experiences with Pro Stock hockey sticks in the past. So for context, not only have I purchased some years in the past, but I also used to get issued them when I was still playing in school. Not very high-end stuff, but never really had great experience or great luck with them. They were the kind of things where they were, not only did they not perform as well as retail sticks that you would buy, but they also were not as durable as the sticks that you would buy from the store. Now, it's been a long time since those, back in those days. I'd say that it's been about 30 pounds ago was the last time that I was actually getting sticks for free. Basically, recently, I was feeling a combination of cheap and experimental with regard to stick purchases. I haven't really touched on this yet in any video, but there's been enough rumors going around, and recently I confirmed this with a local Pure Hockey, that the SuperTax line of sticks, which is what I'm currently using by CCM, is no longer going to be carried by Pure Hockey. And if you've watched the video, Justin with the Beer League Bum Hockey Reviews, you can see that the AS6 Pro, whatever you want to call it, blades are kind of trash for durability on those, as well as the Ghost, as he kind of, pointed out. And so I did some researching on that too, and sure enough, there have been enough warranty returns that have been coming back and enough negative reviews that basically the fact that it sounds like even CCM isn't really considering continuing the tax line very long. Maybe this is just rumor, but I know that at the end of the day, when I go to a Pure Hockey, I'm not going to be able to get super tax sticks anymore. So it's basically caused me to kind of want to reevaluate what I'm using, and it's time to try something else and move to a different type of stick is the bottom line. And this is like a good lesson for you guys. If you have been using a certain curve or a certain stick or something like that, sometimes they just do away with that kind of stuff. Like, for example, in addition to Pure Hockey getting rid of the CCM SuperTax line of sticks, they're also going to get rid of any of the stick lines that are using a W88 pattern. So your Warrior sticks, your Bauer, anybody that's been using that cane pattern, they're not going to carry that pattern anymore. So it's basically the SuperTax and the P88, W88, whatever you want to call it, those are going away. The good news is on some of those other brands, like sticks like Warrior, Bauer, are now introducing the P90TM, so that's, a pretty decent add to the collection too, whether you like that curve or not. But anyways, it's been making me want to change out what I'm using. So I basically was having a hard time deciding on whether or not I wanted to move over and try the JetSpeed FT6 Pro. And it's kind of the direction I was leaning towards, that as well as the Proto R. There's some positives about both of those sticks that I think would fit me well. However, I just wasn't really feeling like I wanted to blow the money on that level of a stick. So I started looking around on Sideline Swap, as one does, and you always tend to find something that you're looking for on Sideline Swap. It's really a miracle of the hockey world. So basically what I found is a plethora of Pro Stock sticks, just kind of poking around. Mostly I was looking for my favorite curve and favorite lie. So basically, my favorite curve and lie would be a P92 and a lie 5, which is not something that is offered anymore. I think maybe the Supreme 2, the Supreme was it the 2S Pro? That's what it was. That was the last Bauer stick to offer the P92 and a Live 5 and a Live 6. Ever since then, you got to go custom, which I'm not doing for that. I'm not waiting months for a stick that might last weeks. You know what I mean? So I found these True sticks here that I feel like might fit the bill. From what I could tell, they were all exactly my specification. As it turns out, Mitch Marner, you may have heard that name before. Of course, you've heard the name before, but it turns out he and I use exactly the same specifications, from like kick point to flex to blade pattern and lie. So basically, not only is he using something that's similar to a P92, and you'll see in this video that it's not 100% match, but there's a lot of similarities. But he's using the Live 5 on that. He's using a mid kick. He's using a 80 flex stick like I am. So I figured, you know what? I'm gonna give it a chance. I'm gonna try these and see how it goes. Now the price was right. So I had these shipped from Canada to my house, and I think it was about $304 with tax and shipping for 2 brand new sticks. So that's basically getting, that's my warranty. Even though these sticks don't come with warranties, getting 2 sticks is kind of like a warranty basically, right? Unless I hate them. And I haven't tried them yet as the time I'm filming this portion of the video. So I'm going to be sectioning out this video to get you a little bit of footage, and we'll talk about it a little bit. So anyways, we're going to find out in this video if pro stock sticks are still sucky. Or they have improved. My guess is it's improved just by feeling the stick and kind of taking a couple of warm-up shots off the shooting pad into the net in the garage. But you know what? We're really going to find out. So I'm hoping this works, because these are, you know, the price was right. The other thing, as I'll mention about going to watch True hockey stick reviews on Justin's site, Beer League Hockey Bum Reviews. As you'll see there, that True is probably one of the most fragile sticks that are out there. Like, you know, lasting a game or lasting even several shots. I mean, you're just trash for garbage. And my experience with retail True sticks have been similar to that as well. I tend to blow up blades on True sticks. At least I did with my AX9s that I used to use. And these are True sticks that I've got. They're True Catalyst 9Xs. I'm going to do a little bit of research before I film the next part to find out what this stick really is. If you're not aware, sometimes you might see a stick with a certain graphic on it, and it's not exactly what that stick is. I am positive it's a mid-kick True stick of some kind, but it could be a PX that's wrapped as a 9X. I'm going to get in touch with True and find out what the code is, and you'll be seeing it in this video. I'm not going to make you wait for me to release another video on that, in the off chance that you happen to use these specifications for yourself too. But anyways, True at the retail level, garbage durability. My thought process was like, you know what, these are pro stock sticks. You know, it seems unlikely that a pro player, even though they get their stuff for free, wants their stick to break at key moments of a game. It seems kind of dumb. And what I will tell you is that, you know, True Catalyst sticks at the retail level are a pretty lightweight stick. I can't remember, you know, what they are, kind of in the mid 350, 360 grams. These pro stock ones I have are closer between like 380 and 400 grams. So I'm going to guess there's like a little bit better durability in these. Again, time will tell. I'm not going to do a long-term evaluation on these sticks. You know, you can ask me after I publish this video, and I'll tell you. You know, I always respond to like 99% of my comments that I get. But I at this point, it's going to be like a performance, like how do they feel after I get a chance to use them, because I can tell pretty soon after just using them like one time on the ice how it's going to perform in a number of different situations. So, you know, I'll give you my opinion on it for, you know, what that's worth. But anyways, let's get into it. Let's get into some of the tech stuff, and I'll talk about it. Okay, so now that we're to this section, I have had the opportunity to use the stick on the ice for, I want to say, 7 hours. And I've had a lot of puck touches, a lot of shots. And then I've also tried it out in playing defense, playing forward, center. I've used it in a novice drop-in, used it in kind of a intermediate, like a very wide range. So there's beginners all the way through a couple of advanced folks. And then I used it in my Monday night A-League level skate. So I've gotten a chance to use it in all of these different situations. So I'm starting to feel like I have a pretty good idea of what this stick is, how it performs, and kind of some other things about it. So earlier in the video, I mistakenly said that I was sure that this was a mid-kick stick based upon the people that were selling it to me. I've since done a lot of research, including talking to those folks on the phone, as well as communicating with True Hockey themselves. And it's not as simple and straightforward as kind of, being able to say exactly what this stick is. And that is kind of that's always been one of my issues with pro stock sticks. You don't really ever have any idea of what exactly you're using. That maybe doesn't matter. Like, I think in this case, it's like not too big of a deal, but it's just interesting. So from my standpoint, the information I've been able to find about this particular stick based upon the PXB code on the stick is that it might actually be a true AX9 with a Project X blade on it. And in addition to being a Project X blade, it would be an extra stiff Project X blade. And this would be the Project X, not the one that's just recently been released, like I'll call it the Project X 2.0. There was one released back in 2019, 2020, or somewhere in then. This is the blade that I'm talking about, that older one. And so the way it feels in the hand, like when you weigh it, it's when it's cut at 64.5 inches overall length, like my ASV Pro Super Tax, they're about the same weight, around that 385, 380 some range in an 80 flex. And the True Stick feels significantly lighter because it has a pretty lightweight blade in it. And that is, we're talking about perceived weight because of a lightweight blade that's in the True Stick. So there is that aspect of it. There is a code, I think it's, 9156 or something like that. You guys can, whatever was on the shaft of the stick when I took the picture, but there's a number 2 after that first 4 numbers, and that 2 apparently has to do with the stiffness rating. So a number 1 would be like a 75 flex stick, number 2 is an 80 flex, 3 is an 85 flex. So every number that it goes up, it's going up by 5 on the flex spectrum. So if you ever see something like, number plus a number 3 for a true pro stock stick, you're looking at probably an 85 flex sticks most likely. Right now, even True is having a difficult time kind of telling me what stick that they have. And a lot of times they're going to do example type of sticks that they'll hand out. Like, I can tell you that there's a number of like Austin Matthews True Catalyst 9X sticks that are floating around out there. They made those specifically so players like him could test it out, even though he's not using that stick. So that could really be anything. But the Mitch Marner sticks that I have, these are made to his specs. So that's, just those are what he uses, at least he used at the time. Currently, he's using something that's painted as a hazardous PX right now, I believe. But again, who knows what that is. The other thing that I will note that's kind of interesting about the blade, I didn't even bother to really take a picture of this, even though you can kind of see it from some of the earlier photos, is that the blade very much at first glance looks like a P92 curve. However, it's a very thin blade. It's thinner than the Bauer blades. It's thinner than the CCM blades, like on the P29. The other thing is, it's kind of like thick near the heel, super thin at the mid part of the blade, and then it gets thick again towards the toe, which is like really strange. So I don't quite understand the purpose of that, but what I will say about it is that when you first use the stick, it feels extremely pingy. You're not really sure where the puck is, but that goes away pretty fast. And then you realize that it's actually pretty good for stick handling and passing. It's very nimble. It's good around the net, things like that. And then the other part of the curve that's kind of interesting, even though it looks like that P92, you actually kind of have to shoot it like a P28. Like, I noticed that it performs much better if you shoot it from the toe area of the blade, which is kind of took me back by a little bit. But you'll see, I'm actually going to include some video here of how it looked with some wrist shots and some slap shots too. And then, I'll talk a little bit about that. But it does kind of perform like a P28, but it's a single lie. It's not a dual lie like the P28s that you'd see on the retail market. In my mind, that's a good thing, because the something like a P29, P92, it's very consistent on the bottom of the blade, and you don't have to worry about having the toe or the heel too high off the ice like you would with a retail P28. But with having a single lie with a toe curve, it makes it feel a lot more consistent, more forgiving. So it's kind of like a more versatile P28 is the way I would look at it. And somebody like me who really prefers P29s and P92 curves, and I really think it's a usable, really good blade that gives me a little something more that I didn't really expect. And so lastly, I was kind of touching on this before, but I'm starting to really feel the way it shoots is probably it's a low kick stick, which, whatever, I can use pretty much whatever and be okay with it. But I was kind of hoping for the mid kick, but it just doesn't play like a mid kick stick. And, I'm bringing up all these details here because if we kind of take a step back, yes, you may be somebody who is interested in using a P92-ish curve, 80 flex. You don't care if 80 flex. You don't care if it's a mid or low kick point stick. These sticks can be like a good option for you from a price standpoint. I mean, as a reminder, I think I got these shipped to me for $304 US, and that's including tax and shipping from ordering it off of Sideline Swap. And so those are always options. There's a ton of them out there, especially if you are somebody that shoots right and you can do Mitch Marner's curves. I think those sticks are going to be around as long as he's playing. And, so I don't think availability is going to be too big of an issue. I just think that trying to figure out exactly what kind of stick that you're using here is a little rough. So, that's always been one of my concerns about it. So that being said, though, I'm going to transition us over to some shooting, and I have to tell you this, that I'm like really surprised in a good way. I was pretty blown away by how the stick shot. Now, I already mentioned that I'd gotten a chance to use it in a bunch of game scenarios to kind of find out if it would perform. It did perform, but I didn't get a chance until yesterday, whenever you're watching this video, but to get a chance to really put it through its paces and all of its shots over the course of an hour and a half, just me and my daughter out on the ice messing around. And I was kind of blown away by how well it shot. I will say that the slap shot power is equal to the Warriors Novium Pro. I haven't tried the Super Novium Pro, but the Novium Pro, if you watched the video that I did with Justin, I mentioned that was the hardest slap shot stick that I've used in a million years. It just sucked for all other shots. But the slap shot was amazing. This True Stick has that level of slap shot power. It was also very similar to the slap shot power of the FT6 Pro. except I would say that it has even better accuracy. Also, with regard to like the wrist shots on it, doesn't really like sweeping wrist shots at all, but it does like quick release snapshots. Again, that's probably due to the low kick point on it. And it was surprisingly accurate too. So as you'll hopefully be able to see a little bit of that in the video. Now keep in mind, my daughter is 6 and she was she was filming this. So, you know, it was better than mom cam, but kind of close to it. So, you know, we'll have to let it slide on it. But yeah, I think you'll get an idea from the wrist shots and the slap shots that I was taking that the stick kind of rocks. And I was pretty impressed with it. We'll have to see how it does on durability. Okay, I'm going to stop the video right here and just interject a topic of durability. So unfortunately, I did notice a small issue, could be small, it could be large, with the blade on the stick, and that just kind of speaks to True's manufacturing process, I guess, even at the pro stock level, which we are finding out that is terrible, so which is kind of a bummer. We'll see how long this lasts, but I want to roll in some footage of what I noticed, you know, over just the last, well, really today, actually. And, you know, this is kind of one of the things that if you find out that your stick blade is making this noise on whatever stick that you currently own, it really does mean that there's something wrong with the inside of the blade, whether it's the foam cracking, coming apart, whatever. And so, you know, in this particular case, we're looking at a stick that has 7 hours of ice time on it. So let me roll that footage in. Okay, did you hear it? The crunchy sound? So that's exactly the type of issue that I've always had with pro stock sticks. So my assumption about why this is not considered to be an issue is that, you know, the pro guys are getting, you know, they're getting their stuff for free, obviously, and so all they care about is how it feels, how it performs, and all that good stuff. Whether or not it lasts a shift or 5 shifts or a game or whatever is probably irrelevant to them. So I think the question that you need to ask yourself when you're looking at pro stock sticks, and something that I'm trying to think about myself, is that you know, in this particular case, I paid, like I said, 304 American monies for these 2 True sticks, brand new. This is 7 hours in to a squeaky, cracky sounding blade that probably still performs okay. And I'll keep an eye on it. And if you guys want to, you know, ping me in the comment section at some point down the road to see if I'm still using one or both of these sticks, then, you know, feel free to do it. And if it breaks or something like that, I might make a quick video on that. But so is $304 for 2 sticks that may last the same amount as one retail top end stick? Is that a good value? Maybe. I mean, you probably are going to be paying $380 after tax for like a top end, you know, FT6 Pro or something like that, or more depending on what, you know, other model you get. But you know, for my in my particular situation, my ASV Pro, as of this specific date of making this video on December 20th. Has lasted 4 months, and there's no real sign of damage on it from a performance standpoint, and that's crazy to me. That's actually the longest lived CCM stick I've had in a while. And so typically speaking, I'm getting about 45 days out of a top-end retail stick. I just, like I said, I blow up blades from because I load them. I'm heavy. I have a heavy wrist shot. I just blow up the blades, and this might be an example of doing that to this True stick as well. But, you know, I feel like if I can get maybe the same amount of time out of these 2 True sticks as I did for this one ASV Pro, then it might be worth it, because I will have actually spent less on these 2 True sticks than I did on the ASV Pro. And, you know, they're both good sticks. They both perform fine. So I do think that if you went down the route of trying Pro Stocks, yes, your initial price is gonna be a lot cheaper than buying a retail stick, but just keep in mind that you're probably going to have to spend more in the long run, or I should maybe not spend more in the long run, but I think you're probably going to be buying a larger quantity of Pro Stock sticks than you would retail ones. But maybe it's hard to say. It's different for each person, but it's clear that I'm probably on track to get the same or even less time out of two sticks, these two Pro Stock sticks, than I am the one retail top end model stick, unless it's a known retail issue like a true retail stick, for example. So we'll see. But anyways, a little bit disappointing to see this, but from a performance standpoint, the stick is really cool, and I'm going to continue to use it and enjoy it until they blow out on me, and we'll just go from there. So we'll see what happens. Anyways, let me get back to telling you about how I fell on the stick and almost broke it. And snap, I thought the stick was toast right there, but it like hung through that, didn't break, so maybe that's a good sign. I feel like if you had given a retail true stick to Justin, he probably would have snapped it on the second shot. So the fact that we have about 7 hours on this one, that's probably good for a true stick right now. What I really want to do, Justin, if you're watching, I probably want to get one of these sticks in your hands because you keep breaking all the retail true models. I want to see what you think about this thing. We'll have to see if we can make that happen. But anyways, let's transition over to the video footage that I took, and we'll see how that goes. Okay, so I decided to start out with some wrist shots, and I think what you might notice is that I definitely am kind of getting used to the curve as well as the kick point on a couple of these, but on some other ones I was able to pick the corner no problem. And the shots that were good tended to require a little bit less loading and for me to release the puck a little bit further in front of my body. But they felt really good when I figured it out. For the slap shots, the curve and the kick point kind of wanted me to use the toe of the blade for my slap shots instead of the middle or the heel of the blade. So once I figured that out, I was really feeling comfortable ripping just bombs. In fact, just like that one right there, that's every bit as hard as the Novium Pro and the FT6 Pro from what I can remember. In fact, this stick did it more consistently than either of those two. And of course, after seeing the pure, unadulterated power of that stick, my daughter had to give it a rip herself. However, she wasn't quite as impressed as I was. Okay, so I'm just going to point out one weird thing that I don't think I've ever had happen on any stick ever. So the butt end here seems to have come out when I was shooting all those shots at the stick and puck session, even though it was taped down in two different places. So there's always got to be something with True. That's all I'm saying. So obviously this is an easy fix. Next time I'm just going to put a strip of black tape over the top of it and tape it down before I create a butt end as well as the grip tape, and it should be good to go. Okay, so let's wrap this video up. What do I think of Pro Stock sticks? It's been a million years. I've now gotten a chance to try at least these true Pro Stock sticks. Well, I have to admit that they performed much better than I thought they would. So the performance is not a concern. It is nice to know that I can just purchase Marner Pro Stock sticks, and I'm going to be getting the specs that I want. Specs meaning that 80 flex, P92-ish curve with a live 5. Shaft dimensions are great. Who knows whether it's a low, mid, hybrid, I don't know, some sort of combination. I don't care. The specs are there, so that's a good thing for my particular case. I do think that the durability is still a concern. I feel like if I remember correctly, when I used to be purchasing and getting Pro Stock sticks, I was getting on average about 3 weeks out of a stick before the blade would make the crunching sound that you heard, and then that was pretty much toast. And the way that manifests itself in a game, by the way, for if you shoot right, like I do, what'll start happening is you will start missing the net wide right, and that's just because the blade is like opening up because it's not maintaining its rigidity. And obviously, if you shoot left, it'll be firing wide left of the net. Usually, the way you see it happen, you can even start seeing it rip way high of the net. That's another thing that I've seen. So once the stick starts doing that to me, that's when it's going to be time to swap over to the backup. But that's still really, again, not awesome durability. It's pretty crappy. The price is the only redeeming quality of it, which is still consistent from what I remember. Again, you may not be that type of player that's going to be loading sticks like I do or other people, but it's still not going to keep people from slashing the heck out of you in any beer league game. So it does, just because you're not that type of person that puts the load on it doesn't mean that somebody else isn't going to slash the blade in half on you. So that's some things to think about. Would I recommend them? I think that they're worth a try. I don't think I would have said that before running this little experiment with these. I think that if you can get them, let's put it this way, I would not pay $1 more than $150 US dollars for one of these sticks. It's just, they're not worth any more than that. If you can get them for that, then I think that they're absolutely worth it. But if you're going to have to pay more than that, I'd actually go and take a look at ProStockHockeySticks.com. As you recall from Who's Winning and Losing the Stick War video, those sticks were an awesome bang for the buck at $200. So I would rather see you get something like that than spend $180 on a Pro Stock stick. I think they're just more worth it than these Pro Stock sticks, unless you're getting them for $150 or less. So that's just my take on it. If for some reason I find out that these sticks both explode, my goal is to hopefully get 3 to 4 months out of both of these True sticks. If they last me that much time, I will be happy. But, to be honest with you, having 7 hours on one stick and it already having a cracky blade, not too hopeful that's going to happen, but we'll see. But anyways, I'm going to close the video there. If you have any questions or comments, or you want to hit me up for anything else, just let me know. And as always, I really appreciate you watching. Take care.